Welcome back. It is exactly 12:36, our final interview of the morning, and I am so pleased to be talking with this amazing young lady. She is an author. Her name is Cathrine Phiri. She is, in fact, an author of several captivating novels, and she crafts tales that transport readers to new worlds and unforgettable adventures. Catherine's ultimate dream is to spread joy and inspiration, making the world smile, one novel at a time. She sounds absolutely amazing, and she's looking right at me, smiling beautifully. A good afternoon to you, Cathrine. Wonderful to have you here. And gosh, can't wait to get talking with you.
Hello, Julie. I hope you're good. It's nice to be
I
with
am.
you here.
So, Cathrine, you've written several novels, um, and of course, we'll talk about some of those novels in a little while. What inspired you
Mhm.
to become a writer? And did you think in this very competitive world of ours that someone would notice that you are a writer, you are a talented writer, and you do have stories to tell which people would enjoy?
So, writing for me started as a coping mechanism to get away from my daily life. And it started with me creating a world in my head to escape what was going on. Growing up, life was tough. So, I created this world in my head to escape everything. And then at school, that's when I learned that there is writing and there are things like novels. So, I started penning down my thoughts until one day I introduced myself to the world, and lucky me, people were very kind and welcoming. So that is how I started writing, and I got to where I am right now.
Your books explore themes of love, struggle, and destiny. Why are these stories important for you to tell? And your background, in the background, you have a bookshelf with some of the books you've written.
Yeah.
Um, it is bestowed by the gods, is one of them.
Mhm.
He's a destroyer, married at 16. And of course, Zendaya, and then
Yeah.
also a love that heals. You're pretty young yourself. And I'm trying to think, a lot of authors kind of draw on life experiences. But
Mhm.
I can't say that about you because you're very young. So when you start writing, where do you get all these ideas from? Your characters, the backgrounds? You know, a writer, an author has to set a scene. And if the scene
Yeah.
is not right, you're not going to grip your reader. So where do you find all of that inspiration from?
So I draw inspiration from my everyday life. Sometimes I could be walking down the street and see something happening, and it just clicks in my head. This would make a good scene. And I feel like even though I'm young, I get to talk to older people. I feel like older people trust me. I don't know if I should say that, but they talk to me. They tell me their experiences. And sometimes when I'm writing about something that I don't have any experience of. I do my research, ask around. For example, lately I've been writing about infertility. I don't know much about that. I've never been there. So I get to ask people, how is it like? How does it feel? And then I use also my imagination to imagine, let's say, if I was in that situation, how would I feel? Because at the end of the day, if I'm writing, I have to enter my character's shoes, whether the character is older or younger, I have to be them and write like them. So I literally draw inspiration from my everyday life, everything that I see, people around me, the society, just everything inspires me to write.
So, which was the first book you wrote? And were you confident or very nervous about where the book will be published? But let me ask you this question before you respond to that. Are you
Yeah.
self published or do you have a publishing house? And so that's the first question. Which
Okay.
is it? Are you self published?
I'm both self and traditionally published. So some of
So
my
with
books
your
are sorry.
with your first book, what was the feeling like? Was that self-published? And were
Yes.
you really dependent on the response of your readers?
Mm.
Did that then seal it for you and tell you, yes, I'm on my way. I'm a writer. I'm accepted. People love my book. How was that
So
for you?
I started writing on Facebook during lockdown when we had nothing to do. So there's this group that we call Facebook Diaries. It's sort of like a community of writers who create pages and just start posting their work and growing their fan base and audience. So that's where I started. And then people reading my work were like, this is good. And we would like to see more of your work and we would like to see your work published. So I didn't know much about publishing back then, and I didn't do much research, to be honest. So I opted for self-publishing. I was like, this seems like the easier route, and that's all I knew. But people were very welcoming and supportive. So I think that's what pushed me to publish more and continue writing.
So, which of your novels has been the most personal or challenging to write, and why?
I wouldn't say it's personal, but it was challenging to write. It was Zendaya. I wrote it back in 2022 and I just wanted to tap into thriller action. And it wasn't something that I had written before. So I was just cruising through it and people loved it. Fortunately, people loved it. So yeah, I think that was the hardest, but I wouldn't say it's personal. Usually, my books are strictly entertainment, and yes, I do sprinkle a little bit of me in the characters, but I wouldn't say there's a book that is personal. But there is a book that is close to my heart, and it's Married at 16. I feel like that's the book that I actually love amongst all of my books.
Okay, we're going to come back to you after the ad break and we're going to explore what Married at 16 is all about and how much of you is in that particular book. Please stand by.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Gaza needs your support more than ever. Homes have been shattered and families have lost everything. With your support, our teams are delivering clean water tankers, feeding the hungry, and assisting orphans who have no one left. Let us give Gaza whatever help we can. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Right now, in some of the most devastated parts of our world, Places close to many of our hearts, Doctors Without Borders is delivering emergency medical care where no one else will. Your donation gives a child surgery, a family clean water, a community a fighting chance against disease. This is an opportunity to make your giving count where it's needed most. Visit msf.org.za/sadaqah, that's SADAQAH, and donate today. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
I've been enjoying all of the interviews today. I certainly hope you did too. We're still talking with Cathrine Phiri. She is a novelist and author, and she's going to talk some more to us about her writing and why it matters to her, of course, why it should matter to us. So Cathrine is just indicating to me that she can't hear me. So
she'll reconnect.
You try and sort that out for us. Okay, we've just spoken with our technical producer. Let's see if you can hear me now, Cathrine. Are you back with me, Kath?
Not yet. She will reconnect.
Okay. I've just been told that our guest will try and reconnect. Seems as if she's lost sound. And I can't wait for her to get back online so that we can pick her brain regarding her writing. And I think most of us kind of feel that we have a book within us, a story that needs to be told. And oftentimes when I meet an author or when I'm doing a book review, I often tell them that I have threatened to write a book as well. And they say to me, go for it, you know. But then I say, I don't know where to start. And then the response is, start anywhere. Whatever's on your mind, pen it down. Much like a journal. So whatever thought crosses your mind that day and you think it's part of the making of a book, a great book, then jot it down, and who knows, eventually in a couple of weeks, months, or even years' time, you'll have a book on your hands. So welcome back, Cathrine. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, great stuff. We don't have too much time left, so let me ask you this question. You did indicate that Married at 16 is or was your favorite novel up to now. Why is that?
I love the story because it was the first story that I ever wrote, and it was the first story that introduced me to the people, because that's the story that I started with on Facebook. So many people know me by that story, and that's the story that made people love my work. So it was my first time introducing myself to the world, and I loved the response, and I love how till this day people still talk about the story. So I love it so much.
Authors often, like you say, there's a little bit about yourself in every book you write. And people kind of wonder which part of that book is Cathrine. What is she telling us about herself and her life in a certain part of the book? Do you not find that makes you too vulnerable by, sharing some of your personal life in the book, even though you may not name it as part of your own personal story?
Usually I wouldn't say I share experiences, I just share character. When it comes to the main character of Married at 16, she's everything that I am. She's strong and she's resilient. So that was me taking a little bit of myself and putting that in her. And as for real life events, the book is solely based on fiction and made up stuff. And I often get the question, were you married at 16? No, I wasn't. It was just fiction. So yeah.
Right. Do you find that our communities are big on supporting our local authors? When you do a book launch, do they come out in their droves? And also, are the majority of our community readers? And do you believe they're passionate enough to support local authors like yourself?
People are very supportive. I won't lie, they're very supportive. And I feel like as we go on with the years, more people are reading books and more people are buying books. More people are taking a chance on indie authors. As I started as a self-published author and people took a chance on me. So I feel like more people are reading and more people are supporting authors now. And we do appreciate that a lot.
I often ask this question when I'm interviewing an author and doing book reviews. And the question is around social media. Social media has overtaken our lives in a very, very big way. Do you believe it's going to impact on our love for reading? Or do you think, the information and the gossip and everything we pick up on the different social media platforms is going to perhaps impact on our love for reading?
I feel like social media is playing a huge role when it comes to reading now, and more people now prefer ebooks compared to physical copies, and it does help that we can now have ebooks as authors. Anybody can get hold of your book now. It could be somebody in America or in another continent. They can now access to your book. I feel like that helps for us authors to get more exposure and more customers and more readers. I feel like it's playing a good role on my side. I feel like because so many people, we've met them through social media. We haven't met them in person, but they are close to us. They are our best readers and best supporters. So I think it's doing a good job when it comes to marketing and helping us get out there.
What about overseas readers that have read your work via ebooks? What sort of response are you getting from them? And how much of the South African culture is captured in your books?
As I said, my books are solely fiction, so they get to see how it's like outside, places, nice places. We get to explore places. For example, Cape Town. If I get to write about that in a book, and people see that, some people get interested, and they just get to read about our stories, how things are for us. And for example, Married at 16, there were times when children were expected to get married that young and get married to older men. At the time, it seemed fine. So they get to see why some people got married young and why it seems normal to us because it's culture and all those things. So they get to learn about our cultures and our lovely scenarios, our places, all of that.
Let me stick with Married at 16. I do know that that was the practice for a long time within our communities. Does that still hold true in this day and age? Do you think people's mindsets have changed around that cultural practice? Very especially since young men and young women are more and more into education and they are viewing the world very differently.
I think we've changed and we've gotten to understand why it's wrong to get married or get our children married at that age. But I feel like there are some cultures who still practice that, and I feel like we should spread the word and educate people more about that, because some people don't really know if what they are doing is wrong or right. They just follow their cultures. To them, everything seems normal.
Okay, you spoke about Married at 16. I can see now why it's your favorite book. It captures so much of who we are as a South African society. What is Bestowed by the Gods all about?
Bestowed by the God is a village love triangle. It also captures the society and what is expected of a girl child and what is expected of a boy child. For example, in the book, there's a prince and there's a rule in their kingdom that his first wife is supposed to be of royalty. If he wants somebody who's not of royalty, that person can only be his second wife. But then the girl he wants is not of royalty. So now he has to figure it out how to educate his parents on how things are done, because he went and got educated in the city and then went back to the village to tell them this is not right and we shouldn't be forced to do this. So that is what the book is about.
Zendaya, very quickly, what's that all about?
Zendaya is an action thriller. It's about a girl who's living in the streets, and a man offers to take care of her and put a roof above her head if she works for him. So she's like trained to be an assistant.
And what are you currently working on?
Currently, I'm working on A Love That Hurts, which is the second book to A Love That Heals.
Okay, so are you planning for this to be a trilogy then at some point?
Yes, the series story is supposed to be a trilogy: A Love That Heals, A Love That Hurts, A Love That Restores.
Oh, wow. Why the theme on love and the different phases that we go through in love? Hurts, heals, and restores. I mean, gosh, a lot of us go through that or have been through that, have we not?
Yes, we've been through that. I always tell people that I'm a lover of love. I believe in soft love, but I also believe that love can hurt sometimes. So I just love talking about those things and teaching women that love doesn't have to be hard. You might be in a love that hurts, but it's not supposed to be hard. Love is supposed to be something that's beautiful and healing.
Please, God, yes. Many aspiring writers watching us and listening to us today struggle with self-doubt. What advice would you give them of those young struggling authors about publishing their own book? They may not have the confidence. They truly are wrecked by self-doubt. What's the best piece of advice you'd give them?
I would advise them to start writing and believe in yourself. It starts with you. If you are confident and believing in yourself, it's easier for other people to believe in you also. So you need to be confident about your work and know the reason why you're writing in the first place. I feel like that will guide you to know this is why I'm writing. On my side, I write for me. As I said, I started it as a coping mechanism. So I write my stories for me. And people just also happen to enjoy them. And I also happen to make a career out of it. So it's a win-win.
But not all people will be as lucky as you are, where you've made a career out of it, you're making money out of it. It is said that authors don't necessarily make money. They write for the love of writing. They write for the love of telling a story. So what do you say to young people who want to write thinking they're going to make a lot of money?
Write because you love to write, not because you want to make money. Because if you chase after fame and money, you're going to be depressed if you do not get that. So write for you and let the money follow. That is what I would advise.
Wonderful talking to you. I hope I can meet you in person someday, and do shout out to us when your next book hits the bookstores so that we can go out, meet with you and buy the book as well. Keep smiling, keep writing, and keep doing what you love. Thank you so much for being on the show today. God bless.
Thank you.
It's exactly 1 o'clock, and that, of course, means it's time for me to wrap up. Thank you indeed for your company. I do hope you enjoyed the interviews as much as I've enjoyed them, and your company as well. From me, Julie Ali, till next week, Monday morning at 8 o'clock on News and Views. Take care on the roads, keep warm, and keep smiling. Khudafis.